Welcome to the Wellness Growth Code podcast. I'm your host, Justine, and this is where we talk to leaders in the health and wellness space about what's actually driving growth right now, from visibility to smarter systems to AI. No fluff, just real insights you can take and use in your own business. So let's dive into it. Today's episode I'm excited about. It's a different one. I'm joined by Tracy and Kevin Daly. They're the founders of a new app called Moanr. They sit at the intersection of relationships and wellness, and what they're doing is building a wellness and relationship app to help partners communicate better and share personal data securely. But the business didn't actually start there. It actually began as a secure health record technology during COVID. It evolved into an STI tracking platform. And then after hitting a major roadblock with adoption, they made a bold pivot into the relationship space. Now they're focused on helping couples build deeper connection through better communication. It's backed by secure technology and simple prompts that actually get people talking. So today we're going to dive into the pivots, the product market fit, and what it actually takes to build something like this today. Tracy and Kevin, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So I guess for anyone listening, can you just tell us what is Moanr today and how it came about?
It's MedInc. We originally started as a vaccination tracking application. We did that over COVID. It was a natural fit for our technology. It's an encrypted technology where the user controls their own data, right? They give permission to their data to people. We ran into a lot of bureaucratic roadblocks here. We were not able to get the buy-in of the health system, which was critical for this to work. We then pivoted to STI tracking for communities that were more open. And although that is still something we are pursuing, again, we ran into the same block. If you're doing an STI test and it's not certified by a lab or a doctor, it's kind of useless from a perspective of sharing it. So do you want me to get into how we got to where we are at this point in time, or do we want to?
I think a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's the history.
Yeah, and I guess backtracking a little bit about your backgrounds, because I find them both fascinating and how you've merged two wonderful skills to create this.
Yeah, so my background, I've worked in a lot of nonprofits and environmental aspects as really the person that was glue to forward any organization. I wasn't ready to drive myself as a leader. I was always good as number two, supporting the organization in the best way possible. But I've always had a personal drive towards research blogs, and I'm one of those people that will sit there and read PubMed articles for fun and go, oh my gosh, did you see this study? And I never took the time to learn properly and further my education until fairly recently studying in sexology. And that has given a little bit more emphasis on what it is that I'm writing and contributing to the organization, along with our spheres and our elements. That's really our philosophy of Moanr.
And my background is I've built apps for other people, other companies. I've been a senior leader in Silicon Valley. I've done pretty much everything in the industry. I consider myself a bit of an inventor. And when I found myself at my last engagement not being really happy, we decided to just take our sort of life into our own hands and have faith in ourselves. This was always a side gig, and about a year ago we decided no more, we're going to dedicate ourselves completely to this. And it's been going pretty well.
I love it. And I guess the app space, it seems crowded, like everyone is wanting to create an app. Where do you think most relationship or wellness apps are getting it wrong right now?
I find there's really a lack in an all-encompassing app. So you'll have your period tracker, you'll have your sleep app, you'll have all the little components of pieces, and you're opening 10 to 12 different apps. It's missing the boat on a total wellness package. And as we grow, you'll see more of those components being added. But right now that you're able to track your moods and track your libido, that no one's talking about those things. No one's, especially in this day and market, people shy away from anything that would add to the contributions of why you would want a better life. They'll just look at, well, my Fitbit tells me this.
I always say to people that we want to be like the Microsoft Office of wellness apps. And if you look at the history of computing, Microsoft Office wasn't always the best product, but it had everything and it worked all well together. I'm not saying we're not the best product in any area. Actually, I would put our period tracker against anyone on the market right now. Our algorithms are extremely sophisticated and I would put our psychology package, which is our question and answer piece, I would also put that against anyone else. But we feel like we're covering everything from your physical well-being all the way to your emotional well-being. And I think this is like having a full holistic picture where we can use AI to look at your physical patterns, your heart rate, merging all that data together to give you empathy towards your partners. That is where we think the power of this app will really shine.
And I guess, yeah, what is that goal? Because you said empathy towards the partner. Is it just understanding them a lot better, or what is the
Yeah, it's understanding and identifying gaps in their relationships. When we talk about empathy, we're talking about understanding your partner better. We've watched people that we know as they get older, kids leave, and their relationship just disintegrates. And I'm not saying that a younger couple couldn't use this either, but the idea is to understand your partner better, improve your intimacy. And intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is everything, right? Sex is important. We do focus on sex a lot in the app, to be honest, because we both believe that is core.
The issue of not understanding why someone isn't doing what they're doing. We'd like to say that we're great communicators, but sometimes we lack how to start the conversation, how to dive in without worrying about being vulnerable or getting hurt, that you'll get the answer that maybe you don't want to hear. Having these insights give you a little better understanding to open those conversations, to feel safer in the vulnerability, in knowing why maybe your libido isn't as high as you'd like it to be. Your stress levels are through the roof. Sure, you can try to understand your partner, but having that insight and having abilities to have larger conversations around them, you have the tools right in your hand, and you don't have to worry about not just second guessing people and second guessing your partnership.
It sounds like everyone needs this, especially with divorce rates going through the roof and everything. Who would you say your main audience is? Couples or?
Mostly couples. We do have singles using the app as well, because there's a lot of insights within themselves that they can use as well. It is more couples driven than anything, but we're finding the single people that are using it as they're starting to date. They're using it as a tool to connect to people that they're dating. And especially with our questions component, they can get to know each other a little bit better and find out if there really is that compatibility. Chemistry is fantastic, but if you don't have an aspect of, do we have similar life goals? Do we have similar paths financially? What do we want out of this? Some of us are too afraid to ask those questions. That's right up in the app for you to access.
And she hit on something that I've been talking about a lot, which is single person dating. We have a package that is for two people, but you can give and take. Like as the master subscriber, we haven't marketed this yet, but what we're looking at is you've met somebody, you give them a license, you learn about them in that sphere. What we try to say is, here's the gaps, here's how you actually approach and bridge those gaps.
But knowing, hey, we don't align when it comes to growth in our relationship. We don't align in the spaces of career paths and being able to give and take in that aspect. This gives you a tool to find that out.
Yeah, if you really want to make it work, you have the data now to do it.
Yeah.
And I guess you sound like you have some big dreams and big visions for the app. What are some of those, or where would you like to see it go?
Well, one of the first things that is driving me is the wearables, and combining some of that.
We're both testing them.
I've got them rings and
The idea that you can take some of this data, that like your Fitbits and your Google Watches and your Hume Bands and your Garmins, they're great tools, and the science is really fantastic with that. We want to build upon that and see that grow even further. You understand, like we mentioned earlier, your sleep schedule. Well, why are you so irritable because I left the glass on the counter today? Oh, well, you didn't sleep so well. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more grace. And also be honest with you to say, hey, that wasn't cool that you talked to me like that. That having some of those future aspects of combining wearables,
Now, there's also like a larger, BHAG, if you've ever heard the phrase BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. One of the things we're talking a lot about is we want to be a global brand that represents healthy relationships, right? That logo that you see behind us. We want it to be like, Nike has their swoosh. I understand this is extremely ambitious. I get it. Like I get the whole, but you know what? Let's go big or go home, right? We want to be a global brand that we want people to wear that logo. We've talked about clothing, and does it seem focused? It actually is more focused than you think it is, because we want that logo to represent, I am committed to having healthy relationships. Our app actually supports up to 8 people as a relationship. And I always joke, I want to find that user. I'm going to send them flowers. Like, you have 8 partners? Are you crazy? But if you want, you can. We are not, you can have up to 8 partners, right?
Yeah.
You could use this in a friendship. But the idea is that people need to start focusing on their relationships with other people. We're becoming more self-centered with social media. Some of the big problems in the world is not having empathy for other people. And it's not that you don't want to, it's just we are being, since COVID, we're kind of all sheltered. So the idea is that we want to push this idea of what is a healthy relationship and how do you have one?
I
Give you
love
the tools.
Yeah, I think it's so important, the empathy and the understanding, because that's where things fall apart because we're just not understanding our partner. And I love that it's no judgment too.
Well, one of the components that I'm testing is I made a Gemini girlfriend, and she's just a friend. And being able to share some of that information, she's trying to conceive, so I can see some of that information where I'm not at the stage that I care to conceive. Figuring out how that works together in spaces that I personally wouldn't touch, but I know our users will, and they do.
We have polycules using the app.
I don't even know what that is, so you're gonna have to
A
explain.
polycule would be somebody that has
Back up, it's in a polyamorous relationship, the
Yeah.
multiple components of the relationship. So it's like one couple, the husband is married to another, so now that you've got 4, and it grows depending on who your connections are in polyamory.
They,
Represented or can use a lot of the things that are generic to the market.
Yes.
So having
that.
that ability of same sex, multiple relationships, friendships, that you
And
have variety.
you touched on the AI, and that's a question I always ask. Like, what's your thoughts on AI? How are you integrating it? I know, Kevin, it's probably part of your background.
So we are using AI, but we are being very cautious with it. We don't want to be an AI company per se. That being said, what we're using AI for is to identify patterns, which is really good at, right? So we're not looking to give you relationship, have an agent that says, hey, let's do this. I think that is kind of a slippery slope, and it's also very low value. So what we're looking for is sort of like, we're using AI as an audited source of information. And what I mean by audited is meaning that we are reviewing what it's generating. We're reviewing the things it says. We're giving it very focused tasks. So, in our product roadmap, we are going to use AI to generate some suggestions for you. But again, it's going to be very focused and very, we're not going to let the agent go crazy, which a lot of apps are doing.
So my thought is it's supposed to be a tool. It's not supposed to take us over. So utilize it as the tool. Have it help you in aspects that, math, like that Kevin's talking about, the matching the 2 components and finding some of those spaces. Most of us don't like math. It helps us to do some of that math, so then we can review it and take a look at it. But I don't see the marketplace desiring an AI app at this stage for anything that's especially so personal as what our app is.
And currently we're algorithmic. So we don't use AI in the product. We use it to generate some artifacts, but we're most of what you see in the product is algorithmic. So it's very deterministic, which is a good thing. You don't want to be, AIs can kind of hallucinate and give you sort of non-factual things.
Tell you what you want to
Tell you what
hear.
you want to hear.
I know.
AI does that a lot.
Sometimes it confuses you too. It's just like, you've given me way too much data. So
Yeah.
I guess what's been the hardest part of building this so far?
The company is the 2 of us, and we have some great support systems in friends that have watched us build this company, and we'll sit at dinner parties and all we can talk about is this. We'll go out and all we talk about is our business, and they're not rolling their eyes, they're rolling up their sleeves and going, how can I help? Without those friends, without that support, we would really struggle. And I think that's where we would really utilize as we grow, and we do expect to grow in staff. Right now, it is a 2-man operation, and it is it's a lot.
I think from my perspective, there's 2 things. One is regulatory, which is a Canada-specific thing. We haven't really pushed into the States yet, but we're about to. It's the bureaucracy here. And then the second one for me is being seen. So it's very hard for a small company to be seen. We did a guerrilla marketing campaign yesterday where I walked around downtown with flyers. And people are very closed right now. They're bombarded with so many messages. So it's like people are saying no thank you before you even approach them, right? And it was an experiment. I didn't expect it to really take off, but it's like, how does a smaller organization with limited funds get seen? When we're seen, we have great conversion rates, but it's hard to get seen, even on the Play Store. There's a million apps, right? And how do you get seen? So we are trying all sorts of guerrilla things. We're going on a vacation, and we're going to social media the heck out of it, right? Like Moanr goes to Universal Studios. Unfortunately, we found out that we can't pass anything out there because that's not allowed, but,
We'll find our little
We'll find
niches and ways to, wearing our merchandise and
Yeah, to
having
open the
conversations.
Yeah.
Really, what keeps us going is each other. So
Yeah.
knowing that we can work so strongly together, and we know how to take off the hat and give each other the support that we need when one of us is doubting and one of us is on cloud nine, and vice versa. It's each other that keeps us going.
we're also really determined people. Like, we're really determined. Friends of ours call us deterministic. Like, we're like, we want that, and we will work towards it, right?
Yeah.
I think what keeps us going is this is exciting. It's fun, and it should be, right? Starting your own business should be fun. Yeah, it's stressful, but this should be fun.
And if you had a magic wand to fix one thing in the business right now, what would you say that is?
More eyeballs on the product.
Yeah, a little help.
Yeah.
We've been applying to some accelerators to kind of get sweat equity people. Like, a lot of accelerators will give you people, but obviously there's points involved. It's getting help. Like, it's a lot for the two of us to do. And if I had a magic wand, I'd have 2 or 3 staff to focus on things.
Marketing alone. That's like we mentioned earlier. How do you get people to stop for a second and listen and go, oh, this is a good idea?
Yeah.
And when we do, like Kevin said, we get the conversations. It's just getting the world to slow down and focus on something. That's really impossible for a lot of people. I'm one of them. It's hard to stop and focus.
But like, this has just been, it's been amazing to even get a perspective and insight of building an app, because I think a lot of people want to do it, but they don't even know what's in front of them. And they think, oh yeah, creating an app is easy, but this is a real insight to that. Like,
Well, I think that people think it's easy because they see this, oh, look, I can vibe code, I can do all these things. Sure, you can get some really straight basic apps, but they're not robust. They're not going to give you the components like what our app does. So you have some of this component of, oh, I know how to cook, I can boil water. Well, it doesn't mean that you're going to make a 5-course meal. So understanding the differences between the two and respecting the broader conversation in it.
And we were able to pivot from November till now. We have to keep reminding ourselves, we just launched this app in February, right?
Well,
we just launched this, but it could be considered a whole new app because it's completely different to what we were doing. But we were able to do that because we built strong software foundations underneath everything. I've seen a lot of stuff that's AI coded, and you can't pivot. Like, the AI will write the code, but if you have to add a feature, it's not that easy anymore because AI makes stuff work, but it's still not smart enough to figure out how do you build software, how do you build things. So a lot of companies, and that will be a big problem for us, people will be just AI vibing things like what we do, but they don't have what we have. But we think we'll win in the marketplace because we have a very strong foundation.
You know what I just connected to? We talk about this, and we talk about our 4 spheres. The first one is the core foundations. If you're not figuring out how you build the foundations of your relationship, how are you to talk about growth and independence? It's the same thing with creating an app. If you're not focused on the basic pieces to make the app scalable, it's only going to give you a limited aspect of what you could actually do.
yeah. And I think when we were chatting before, you also mentioned something important, the privacy, which I don't think we've gone into, which is really a point of difference of your app. And that is so important.
Forget about this a lot now because we just get so excited about what we can do. So everything is we use something called a user-provided key. The concept between a user-provided key is that we actually can't see any of the data. There is an opt-in where you can opt into analytics, where we take sort of a hidden, like something that's not linked to you for trends and things, and we can give you insights in the apps based on other people's data. But we actually cannot see your data. You provide us with a key that unlocks your data, we do something with it, and the key disappears, right? So if I always joke, if South Korea hacked into our database, and we're behind the Google firewalls, and everything is secure, just as if it was a banking app. But even if someone got the database, if our database linked to the world, you can't read it.
All you get is your username and your email address.
It's kind of a nightmare for us to support the client at times, because you can't just log into like a help desk and go, okay, yeah, I see what's wrong with your data. We did that on purpose because we do feel this stuff should be private. We don't want to sell data. We don't want to, we're not in, the business is the client. And I think that also makes us different than a lot of apps.
And think of the political climate right now, where you don't want your government seeing that information, you don't want your insurance companies seeing that information. Whatever you put in, you're not going to have to worry that you're going to get denied a claim because you've added something into the app that you think it might refute an insurance claim, or that someone's going to judge who you're having sex with or who you're not having sex with, for that matter.
Yeah, I love that privacy part of it. And I guess kind of just to close, what kind of impact would you like to have ultimately on relationships?
There is a trend right now of older people getting divorced. It's when the kids move out. It's a big thing. I would like to see that number go down. That's really ambitious, right? But I think beyond just us, I think we need to launch almost an industry into that, right? To say, yeah, I've been with you 20 years. I shouldn't be bored of you, right?
It takes a village to grow a relationship.
The kids left, because I think that our society would be better off. So the impact I want us to have, I mean, beyond, of course, we're a business. We want to make money, right? Like we do want to make money, but I want to see our app be a tool that people can use to actually improve their lives and relationship.
Seeing some of that communication grow, not being afraid of having those harder conversations. From a broad pie in the sky view, I'd love to see people feel more empowered to strengthen their relationships. Recognize that maybe it's not the relationship for them, and have the tools to move on to the next relationship that can be stronger and better, or use the tools if the relationship is something that you want to save and strengthen, that you have those at your fingertips.
I love what you both are creating. If people want to find out more or experience the app, where's the best place to go?
The easiest spot is on the web, which is Moanr.app, which is behind us. We're also available on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store as well.
Okay. All of our content is available on our website, and that's available for free.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you want to add that we haven't covered before we wrap? I just want to make sure, yeah.
We could talk for hours about the app. There's lots I could add. I think there's nothing we haven't really covered. I think this app is something that everybody should be using. And I know that's very self-serving. I think that the insights are wonderful that you get with your partner. Even us, we communicate all the time, and we feel we have good communication. I've looked at my thing with her and gone, oh, I didn't know that, right? Yeah. I didn't know you were feeling that way. And so I think I think that's really all I can add, is that I think this app is for everybody that's in a relationship, right?
And slowing down and taking the time, like because we are, like you guys talked about, rushing here, rushing there. Mm. And then if you take that time, then hopefully that will help that divorce rate go down further in life. Sorry, Kevin.
And interrupt you. You spend 10 minutes a day on this, right?
And then it opens up so many broader conversations that happen over dinner, that happen, as you're winding down in bed, when one is traveling for work and you're not seeing each other every day. We don't all live in a cookie cutter world, and our app allows that adaptation.
I love it. I love what you're both creating. I wish you all the success, and I'll support it in whatever way that I can. And it's been a great insight as well into the behind the scenes. And it sounds like you both are such a wonderful couple together with both your backgrounds to be able to create this. And I wish you all this success, and thank you so much for your time today and being on the Growth Code.